Right, we are going to discuss the applicabilities and limits in the company's accounts, right? That is our chapter 9 of the Companies Act. Chapter 9 of the Companies Act 2013. In these accounts of companies, we are going to discuss about the section 28 to 138, what are the limits and applicabilities, right? And coming to the list the list is 132, section 132. In that NFRA, National Financial Reporting Authority, in that NFRA has the power to oversight responsibilities of professional quality of services provided by the chartered accountants or from group of chartered accountants, right? They can investigate on the auditors, like the CA or from the chartered accountant. In this limit, in this applicability, what we are going to see is on whose auditors or class of companies the NFRA can investigate by its own motor or through by reference by the central government, right? Those are the class of companies we'll see. And 134, we will see that the additional disclosures. That 134 is in the board report. In that, we will give the additional disclosures, right? In that additional disclosures, in that additional disclosure shall be given by the specified companies. At that point, we will see 134 and 135 CSR activities. That CSR applicability we will see. 136, we know that is our 132, 136 is about the circulation of that financial statements and other documents, right? In that, what are the companies that are eligible for giving circulation, mandatory to give such circulation in electronic mode, right? Has an option. That is not mandatory. That is an option by that specified companies to give that financial statements and other documents, circulation of financial and other documents as per 136 in electronic mode. We'll discuss what are the companies. And coming to the next 137. 137 is about mandatory filing of XBRL language, right? 137 talking about that we'll file our financial statements to ROC, right? That thing it is saying that mandatory some companies have to file XBRL, that is extensible business reporting language by certain companies. What are the companies we'll see. And 138 is about internal audit, right? In this company we are going to see it is 132, there is NFRA. 134 additional disclosure by certain companies. 135 CSR activity. 136 electronic mode. That means we have said, right, electronic mode circulation of financial documents by electronic mode for certain companies. There is option given. And 137 is mandatory filing of XBRLs by certain companies. And 138 is internal audit, right? We'll discuss the 132, right? It is saying investigation by the NFRA on the following classes of auditors of the following classes of companies, right? NFRA can investigate on the auditors of the following classes of companies, right? We'll divide this. Like the first one is listed with the companies listed in India or outside India, that NFRA can investigate the auditors of this particular company. If it is a case of unlisted company, we have to see the top criteria. That top is for turnover, O is for outstanding loans, debentures and deposits, and P is paid up capital, right? If it is an unlisted public company, we have to see the top turnover. If the turnover is right, if the turnover exceeds 1,000 crores, then that investigation can be done by NFRA. And next, our O, that is outstanding loans, debentures and deposits, we have to consider here. If the deposits exceeds 500 crores, exceeds 500 crores or more, right? 500 crores or more, then investigation can be done by NFRA. And if it is paid up share capital is 500 crores or more, then that NFRA can investigate the auditors of this particular class of companies. Like what is the case? Unlisted public companies, that is top turnover 1,000 crores or more, and outstanding loans, debentures and deposits 500 crores or more, paid up share capital 500 crores or more, right? In this one, on which date we have to see that the 31st March on the preceding financially we have to see. And the next one is our insurance business, banking business, or any electricity company, right? Insurance company, banking company, electricity company, or any other act by special act formed under the parliament. For these companies, also NFRA can investigate, right? And come to the next one, any body corporate by whom the central government has given reference, like in the public interest. In that NFRA can investigate by suo motu or any, right? Or any reference is made to central government. That point is here. That is any body corporate by central government in the public interest. And next one is subsidiary or associate of the following company, that is listed public company and listed company, insurance bank and electricity company, and any body corporate company. For that subsidiary associate company is there, then it also that NFRA can investigate on the particular companies also. And that subsidiary associate company, one point is there, that if the income on net worth exceeds 20% of the consolidated income on net worth only, then it should be subsidiary or net associate under this particular section, right? What are the companies that NFRA can investigate the auditors of the class of companies? Listed company India or not, unlisted company top turnover 1,000 crores or more, outstanding loans, debentures, deposits 500 crores or more, paid up share capital 500 crores or more, insurance banking company, and special act company, any body corporate central government reference, or subsidiary associate of the following companies are the discussed companies if the income or net worth exceeds 20% of the consolidated income or net worth, right? Coming to our next one, that is our additional disclosure in case of certain companies, right? 134, that is 134 board report. In that additional disclosure shall be given. What are the companies that additional disclosure is required? Companies applicability, that is every listed company and every other public company having paid up capital of 25 crores or more. Every public company having paid up capital of 25 crores months. The listed company or public company having paid up capital of 25 crores or more, it has to give additional disclosure in the additional disclosures. What are the additional disclosures? Equal to the board report, right? The manner in which the formal annual evaluation has been made of the performance of the board, the committees of the board, the independent directors, right? Additional information is the formal annual evaluation. What formal annual evaluation has been made of the performance of the board, the committees of the board, and the individual directors. What are the company's applicability? Again, 134 additional disclosures in the board report. Listed companies pay a public company having a paid up share capital of 25 crores or more. What is the additional disclosure? The formal annual evaluation, the performance of the board, the committees of the board, and the individual directors. Right? This is about 134 listed companies and every other public company having paid up capital of 25 crores or more. It has to give additional disclosures what the board and formal annual evaluation of the board, the committees of the board, the individual directors. Right? And next one coming, that is section 135, that is our CSR applicability, that is corporate social responsibilities, that is CSR activities. The criteria for applicability of the CSR activities, the criteria is a company or including foreign company, the public company may be public company or private company, or including foreign company, if it has satisfied the following conditions, right? What are the criteria? A company or including any foreign company having what the criteria is TNN. What? TNN. That is T means T for turnover and N for net worth and N for net profit. TNN, CSR activity, we can say Tamil Nadu, right? TNN, that is net, that is turnover, net worth and net profit. The turnover is 1000 crores or more, or the net worth is 500 crores or more, or the net profit is 5 crores or more. What? Turnover 1000 crores or more, net worth 500 crores or more, and net profit 5 crores or more. If you see, we are going from descending order, right? Net turnover 1000 crores or more, net worth 500 crores or more, net profit 5 crores or more. In which period? In the immediately preceding financial year, right? In the immediately preceding financial year, if any company, including a foreign company, has any of these following, that is any criteria satisfied, then it is okay, or is given, that is turnover 1000 crores or more, net worth 500 crores or more, net profit 5 crores or more in the immediately preceding financial year, then it has to comply the particular section 135, right? For non-applicability, there is a severe. For applicability, there is only one for 1 year we have to see. For non-applicability means once the company has committed the CSR activities, then it has to be continued for the next 3 years, right? What is non-applicability? A company ceases to satisfy the criteria. A company which ceases to fulfill the criteria for 3 consecutive financial years shall not be required to constitute CSR committee and shall not be complied with section 135. Right? If 3 years these conditions are not satisfied, then only the company is relieved from this section 135. Right? Okay, the criteria is TNN, turnover, net worth, net profit, 1000 crores or more, 500 crores or more, 5 crores or more. Right? And the percentage, 2% of the average preceding 3 years, the net profit as per 198. Right? And our next section is about that is 136, that is our circulation of financial statements and other documents, the members and others, right? In that one point we have, that is manner of circulation of financial for certain companies, that is rule 11. There is an option given to the particular companies, they can circulate this through through electronic mode. What are the applicability? The listed companies or the public company having the public company having TN. Previously we have seen CSR activities, right? After that this section is coming, that is 135, 136. Then we cut the one N, TN, that is T means turnover, N means net worth, right? T means turnover, N means net worth. If it's listed company, then it has an option to file that is circulation of financial data to the members in electronic mode, right? But if public companies if it is listed company, then it has an option. If it is a public company, then it has to satisfy both the condition. And is given, right? And is given, TN, and is given. The turnover is exceeding 10 crores, right? The turnover should exceed 10 crores, or the net worth should exceed 1 crore, right? As we have already seen, we are discussing in the descending order, right? Turnover exceeding 10 crores and net worth exceeding 1 crore, right? What is the applicability for the manner of circulation of financial and other documents in the electronic mode? There is an option to a particular company, the listed company, they can circulate, and also public companies having the 2 criteria, that is uncondition is given, turnover, net worth, turnover exceeding 10 crores, net worth exceeding 1 crore, right? And what are the cases, right? There are 3 cases, like if the member has a dematerialized account form and the email is available with the depository, then it can issue the electronic mode. Or if the member does not have a dematerialized account form, but he has given his positively consent that he will receive through mail, then it can be given in electronic mode. Or the third case is if there is no case, if the case that doesn't fall, if that member doesn't fall under 1 or 2, then he can send to the physical mode. This is for reduction of the paperwork, right? This is about 136, that is listed company, TN, just coming after 135, TN, that is net worth and turnover criteria, net worth criteria, unconditioned turnover exceeding 10 crores, net worth exceeding 1 crore, right? Now next one is 137, that is our filing of financial and other documents with the register, right? In 136 we have circulated the FSOD, and in 137 we are filing with ROC, right? In that there is a mandatory provision for filing this FSOD to the ROC in XBRL format. That is XBRL for is Extensible Business Reporting Language, right? The key form is AOC for XBRL, right? What are the companies that mandatory has to file XBRL language? As per section 137, the companies are as follows: listed company, Indian subsidiary of listed company, and companies having paid up capital. Right here the criteria: company has been given or the used, then it can be private company, it can be public company, right? What are the companies applicable under section 137 to file mandatory for XBRL language? Once again, the listed companies, Indian subsidiary of listed company, and two criteria given for public companies, means the company may be private company or public company. What are the criteria? We will see here TP criteria, that is our turnover and paid up share capital. Turnover is 100 crores or more, and paid up capital is 5 crores or more. What? Turnover is 100 crores or more, and paid up capital is 5 crores or more. What are the companies? Once again, the listed companies, the Indian subsidiary of the listed company, and the TP criteria of a company. Company may be public or private, and the TP criteria is turnover 100 crores or more, and paid up share capital 5 crores or more. And after these four companies, one more company is there. All the companies which are required to prepare the financial statement according to the Indian Accounting Standards Rule 2002-15, then also they have to file XBRL language. What are the companies? Listed companies, Indian subsidiary companies, and companies having TP criteria, that is turnover 100 crores or more, and paid up share capital 5 crores or more. And the companies which are required to prepare the financial statements as per the Ind AS, they also need to file mandatory to file to XBRL language only. And the sixth point is all the companies, once these companies have covered under this particular, they have to mandatory file. Even in the succeeding years, they did not complete with that criteria, then also they have to file. Means once the XBRL form is attract to this particular company, then it has to file in all ways, right? And next one is companies having filed the financial statements in Next 12 Companies Act. The companies which are filing in the previous Companies Act in this particular format, that particular format has to file that in XBRL language. Once again, what are the criteria? What are the mandatory provisions for XBRL companies? Listed companies, Indian subsidiary of listed company, companies having TP criteria, that is now 100 crores or more, paid up share capital 5 crores or more, and all companies which are required to prepare financial statements as per Ind AS, and the companies which are previously filing under previous act, right? Those companies. And there is a non-applicability is there for XBRL language, that is the companies engaged in the banking company, insurance company, NBFC company, housing finance company. What is an exemption given for non-applicability of XBRL language? That is company, banking company, insurance company, non-banking financial institution, housing finance companies, right? And coming to the last topic, that is section 138, that is our internal audit. Section 138, in which case the applicability of internal section 138 is that means the mandatory appointment of internal audit shall be given. That is every listed company has to be done, and we'll see if it is every unlisted public company, every listed company has to do. And if it is every unlisted public company, then we have to see the double PBT criteria. Double PBT, the double is for deposit, and the P is for paid up share capital, and B is for what? B is for outstanding loans or borrowings from the banks or financial institutions, that is borrowings, and T is for turnover, right? If it's a private company, we have to see the last BT criteria only, right? If it is applicability of section 138, that every listed company has to do. If it is unlisted public company, then it has to see the double PBT criteria: deposits, paid up capital, borrowings from banks and financial institutions, turnover. If it is a private company, we have to see only BT criteria, that is borrowings and turnover, right? What is the double PBT? Why double is used? Because it is increasing, right? Deposits 25 crores or more, paid up share capital 50 crores or more, borrowings only we have to very careful, that is exceeding that outstanding loans and the borrowings from banks or financial institutions exceeding 100 crores, and turnover, that is 200 crores or more, right? It is double PBT, means it is increasing. 25 plus 25 is equal to 50, 50 plus 50 is equal to 100, 100 plus 100 is equal to 200, right? Double PBT. What is the condition? If it is unlisted public company, outstanding deposits 25 crores or more, paid up share capital 50 crores or more, and outstanding loans or borrowings, banks or financial institutions, here only exceeding what is given, exceeding 100 crores or more, and turnover 200 crores or more. That if it's a private company, the same BT, that is borrowings, loans exceeding 100 crores or more, and turnover exceeding 200 crores or more, right? Turnover 200 crores or more. That is a double PBT, right? In one important point is here, if you see that outstanding loans or deposits and outstanding loans and borrowings are from banks, financial institutions, and outstanding deposits that they have used at any time at any time the word is given, at any time during the year the word is given, then even if that exceeds at any time during the year, then internal audit is applicability. But for paid up share capital and turnover, we have to see the end of the balance sheet date, right? This is all about the applicability of Companies Act, right? And coming to our next chapter, that is our chapter 10 of the Companies Act. 2013, Chapter 10, that is Audit and Auditors chapter, that is consisting of section 139 to 148. In this, the applicabilities and limits we'll see for following list sections we'll give, that is 139 subsection 2, that is rotation of auditors. That particular section, what are the applicabilities we'll see, and 143 subsection 3, that is interim financial controls, right? The auditor has to report on the following things: information, proper branch, books, CAs, adverse directors, maintenance, those things are it, and others. In that internal financial control also there, whether the particular company is following internal financial control adequately or not, operating effectiveness of the internal financial control to be checked. For that, there is an exception given for some companies, what other companies will see. And also 140, that is cost audit, when the cost record shall be maintained mandatorily and when the cost audit is required. Right? This is the section we're going to discuss about in Audit and Auditors Act and Companies Act 2013. What is the 139 subsection 2 and 143 subsection 3, 148. Right? 139 is talking about rotation and 143 subsection 3 is talking about internal financial control, so that the company is exempted for reporting of by the auditor as around 143 subsection 3 and 140, that is cost audit, right? Cost records and cost audit, right? Coming to the first section, 139 subsection 2. So rotation is applicable to the following companies, that is listed company and that listed company and the public company having paid up share capital, and the private company having this paid up share capital, and any company, either it may be a public company or private company. Like we can have here that PBP word, PBP, right? PBP. First we will see the listed company, and next the public company, and the P is for public company, and P is for private company, and B is for the borrowings, right? And we'll see the listed company, the rotation is applicable, and public company having paid up share capital of 10 crores or more. And if it's a private company, the paid up share capital is 50 crores or more. If it is any company, means it may be a public company or a private company having public borrowings from financial institutions, banks, or public deposits of 50 crores or more. Right? Here the word public deposits has been given. You have to be very careful. If the balance sheet is given on the liability side, they have given loans, debentures, or loans, borrowings, loans from the banks, financial institutions, and all the public deposits that they have given. Then we have to add those three: loans from banks, loans from public financial institutions, as well as the public deposits. Then you have to arrive at the criteria, right? But the rotation applicability: listed company, PVP, that is public company. If it is unlisted public company, then the paid up share capital of 10 crores or more. If it's private company, the paid up capital is 50 crores or more. And if it is any company having public borrowings from financial institutions, banks, or public deposits, the word here, public deposits 50 crores or more. What are the criteria? Listed company, public company 10 crores or more, private company 50 crores or more, any borrowings, any company, either may public or private, 50 crores or more, 10, 50, 50, right? And there is non-applicability is there, then that rotation is not applicable to 1% company and small companies, right? 1% company and small companies, right? Coming to the next section, that is 143 subsection 3. In that we have that auditor has to report, due to report the principal assertions, right? Information, proper branch, books, CAs, adverse director, maintenance, IFC. With that IFC, where the company has adequate internal financial controls with reference to financial statements in place, the operating effectiveness of such controls, then this particular auditor need not report for the following companies. Not applicable to private company if it has not done any default in financial statement 137 or annual return 92, right? And also if which is a OPC or small company, then the particular internal financial control reporting with auditor is not required as per section 133 section 3. And also if it's a private company and it is having a TB criteria, right? TB criteria, and here also and is used the same like in our TN criteria in section, right? 136 we have this and is used, right? Same here also TB criteria and is used. That is our turnover. If that private company turnover is less than 50 crores, and the aggregate borrowing from the banks or financial institution or any body corporate is less than 25 crores, right? You have to be very careful here. On internal financial reporting controls is not applicable for the OPC companies, small companies, and if it is a private company, we have to see TB criteria. What TB criteria and unconditioned TB criteria turnover is less than 50 crores. If it is less than 50 crores only, then internal financial control reporting with auditor as per section 140 section 3 is not applicable, right? And the TB criteria T and B is for borrowings from banks or financial institutions and or any body corporate, right? Here also the keyword is any body corporate. If the borrowing has taken from any body corporate, then also it should be considered here. That is less than 25 crores. If the turnover is less than 50 crores, and if the borrowings from the banks, financial institutions or any body corporate less than 25 crores, then this particular internal financial reporting whether the adequate is there or not, reporting by the auditor as per section 140 section 3 is not required for the following company or the companies: 1% company, small company, private company having TB criteria turnover less than 50 crores, and the borrowing from banks, financial institutions as well as the body corporate less than 25 crores, right? Right, and coming to our next section, that is 148, that is cost audit, cost record. This we will see as per rules, right? As per rule 3, that cost records is mandatory for the if that company is having turnover 35 crores or more in the preceding financial year, 35 crores or more, turnover 35 crores or more in the preceding financial year, as well as rule for the cost audit. Rule 4 is we have to divide into regulated sector as well as non-regulated sector. If it's a regulated sector, we have to see all turnover, aggregate turnover, if it is 50 crores or more, right? If it's 50 crores or more, and is given here. What if and for regulated sector we have to see two conditions: all aggregate turnover, that is 50 crores or more, and aggregate turnover individually for which the cost record need to be maintained as per rule 3, that is for which the cost record need to be maintained, that aggregate turnover is 25 crores or more. Then this cost audit is mandatory for this regulated company, right? If it's a non-regulated company, then we have to see the aggregate turnover of the entire company is 100 crores or more, and thus the aggregate turnover of individually of the companies which are required to get cost audit as per rule, cost records as per rule 3, that is 35 crores or more, right? And is used here as well as, right? And coming to the rule 3, the rule 3 is cost records, that is turnover 35 crores or more. Rule for cost audit, we have to classify two types: regulated and non-regulated. Regulated, all turnover 50 crores or more, and aggregate turnover for which the cost record will be maintained 25 crores or more, right? And non-regulated 100 crores or more aggregate turnover, and the aggregate turnover of individuals whose records are maintained as per cost records as per rule 3, 35 crores or more, 50, 25, 100, 35, right? And there has been some exemptions for the cost audit. Only the exemption is given only for cost audit, right? The exemption for cost auditors is export of what? If the company is exporting export revenue exceeds 70% total income, then cost audit is not mandatory. And if the company then says cost audit is not mandatory, and if it is an electricity generating company and that electricity is used for its captive consumption, then also it is not company. What are the not cost audit is not mandatory. That is what the exemption: export revenue exceeds if it's equal to, it is applicable. Exceed, right? Exceeds 100% total revenue, and in special economic zone, electricity generating having captive consumption, right? And we have seen our regulated as well as non-regulated sector, right? How to identify that regulated or non-regulated? For regulated sector, we will see, and non-regulated sector is residuary. Regulated sector is fertilizers, sugars, petrol, alcohol, natural gas, electricity, telephone, right? Fertilizers, sugar, alcohol, petrol, natural gas, electricity and telephone, right? This is all about that applicability and relating to the audit and auditors chapter 10 of the company 2013, right? So in coming to the next applicability, we'll say the CARO applicability, that is companies bracket auditors report order 2016, companies bracket auditors report order 2016, right? This is in our section 143 subsection 11, duty to report on additional matters specified with the central government, right? After the section 143 subsection 11, we have to report the CARO reporting, right? And coming to the applicability of this CARO, applicability of the CARO states as follows: every company including a foreign company, as per section 242, the foreign company also need to comply with the CARO reporting, right? Except what are the exceptions given, that is our private limited company with some conditions, and 1% company need not comply with the CARO, one small company need not comply with the CARO, and section 8 company need not comply with the CARO, insurance company, banking company, right? We can see as a possible, and the airline is not there. A private company with some conditions, 1% company, small company, section 8 company, and insurance company and banking company, right? And also see if the private limited company, if it's a subsidiary of a public company, right? If it's a subsidiary of a public company or a holding of a public company, then the private company is deemed a public company and CARO is applicable to the private company, right? See, and coming to other conditions, which the CARO is not applicable to the private companies. We have seen that the private company CARO is not applicable to certain conditions, right? We'll see the following conditions. The conditions are as follows, very simple one. We can remember as PBT 11110, PBT 11110. And here the paid up share capital, P means here includes paid up share capital as well as reserves. Very important, paid up share capital as well as reserves. Previously we have seen in our company audit and the company accounts, there it is only paid up capital only, no mention of reserves is there, but here specifically they have mentioned including reserves, paid up share capital up to reserves. See that does not exceed 1 crore. That does not exceed 1 crore. Even if the paid up capital is 1 crore also, then CARO is not applicable. If the paid up capital exceeds 1 crore, it is 1 crore 1 rupee, then the CARO is not applicable on a particular private company. And coming to the next one is total borrowings. Total borrowings, that is borrowing from what? From banks or financial institutions. That is 1 crore, exceeding 1 crore at any point of time between the year means that it is equal to 1 crore, CARO is not applicable. If it is exceeding 1 crore, CARO is applicable. Even at any point of during a period, if it is exceeds 1 crore, CARO is applicable. right? And also that there is a T next to it, total revenue from schedule 3 including discontinuing operations, that is our 10 crores. That is also exceeding 10 crores. If that is exceed 10 crores only during the previous financial year, then only that particular CARO is applicable. If it is equal to 10 crores, not applicable. See, what are the conditions? PBT means paid up share capital, free reserves. If it does not exceed 1 crore, not applicable. See, these are unconditions. These 3 conditions must satisfy for not applicability. Right, paid up capital and capital reserves and free reserves doesn't exceed 1 crore. Total borrowings doesn't exceed 1 crore. Total revenue schedule 3 discontinuing operation doesn't exceed 10 crores. If these 3 conditions are satisfied, then only it is not applicable. If any one conditions exceeds, then CARO is applicable. Right, and coming to the first one, paid up share capital and reserves. What are included? All reserves are included, including capital reserve, revenue reserve. If there is a loss in the debit balance, profit and loss account, we'll deduct from the particular capital reserve. Coming to the total borrowings. Even the credit card outstanding bills will be considered here. And but one thing, interest accrued but not due, not to be considered. Interest is accrued but not due, not to be considered. See, this case will arise in if you are following the accounting of a financial year and the dividend is declared that interest is declared as per the accounting year. For example, interest is declared on 30th June and 31st December, but we are closing books on our 31st March. For 31st March, three months interest has been accrued, but the due date is on our June, right? But that is interest, that 3 months interest is interest accrued but not due. That shall not be considered for total borrowings. And total revenue includes all revenues as reduced with the sales, returns, trade discounts are reduced. Less you have to reduce the excess duty, and also you have to include revenue from continuing operations. But you should not include commission allowed on cash discounts to third parties not to be deducted. Right, these things must be deducted. Right, this is the applicability of CARO. Once again, we'll see every company including foreign company, private company, every company including foreign company except private company, certain conditions. 1% company, small company, Section 8 company, insurance company, banking company, private company, insurance company, banking company. These exceptions are there. If the private company is holding a subsidiary of a public company, then CARO is applicable. For CARO, not applicability of private company, you have to see the 3 conditions. If these 3 conditions are not satisfied, if 3 conditions are satisfied, then only the CARO is not applicable. The 3 conditions are PBT, that is paid up capital reserves, doesn't exceed 1 crore, and total borrowing from bank and financial doesn't exceed 1 crore. Right, and total revenue and schedule 3 in discount amount doesn't exceed 10 crores. Right, if these three conditions satisfy, then CARO is not applicable. Even if any one condition is doesn't satisfy, then CARO is applicable. For example, take an example: paid up share capital is equal to 1 crore, CARO applicable or not? Paid up share capital is equal to 1 crore, CARO applicable or not applicable? Total borrowings equal to 1 crore, CARO not applicable. Total revenue equal to 10 crore, CARO not applicable. If it shall exceed, then only CARO is applicable for private company. Right, this is all about CARO. Right.